And welcome everybody to the third edition of Unfiltered. This is the Hangover edition. Just kidding, kind of. It is definitely Hangover Central, but that's because we had a great draft last night. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of people participating. We're going to go over everything. We're going to go over the best drafts, the worst drafts, how many times Soden mispronounced names. Yes, that is going to be a reoccurring theme joke into this show. So if you don't like Soden mispronouncing everyone's names, you might as well stop now. So that's just the way it is. You know, we here like to poke fun at ourselves. And Soden, even though you are the owner of this league, you are no different, my friend. You are going to get it just as much as everyone else. So, welcome. Again, thank you for joining us. We got a great show for you today. As I said before, this is the off-season special. So, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to go over some of the things that happened last night. Some of the things that surprised me. Some of the things that kind of showed me, you know, why this is the best league out there. So let's start, man. That's the one thing that I want to talk about. The biggest surprises of the draft last night. Biggest surprise and probably the funniest moment of the night is when the Redskins picked a 60 overall. And we're all like, what's going on? Why did this guy pick this guy? Big Mike goes into the chat and said, I'm so sorry about that. My kid accidentally pressed A and drafted this dude. So probably biggest surprise of the night was that. Funniest part of the night as well. Another surprise. We were up to like 35 to 40 viewers at one point when I was checking the chat. So just want to thank everybody that has given Soden Bowl Sim League their love, you know, and they're showing that support just by tuning in. You make all this worth it, especially the guys that maybe aren't even in the league. You're just tuning in because you like the content. Maybe you like the content. Maybe you want to do it for your own league. We got some cool stuff lined up for some leagues that are interested in something like that. I'm not going to go over that today. I could go down the rabbit hole, and I'm not going to do that. That's something that we're going to save for a later show. Another surprise that for me was the pretty much almost every owner was drafting last night. There was a couple people that didn't show up, but we had a great turnout. The chat was flowing. The viewership on the show was flowing. Another big surprise for me is that Soden was able to correctly pronounce 4 players in a row their names. So that was a very shocker to me. You know, it's surprising to me just in general with how well the league has been responded. I mean, everyone seems to really like this league. They dig it. We're making changes. We're growing. I always look at this like you would a business, and you know, if you're not growing, you're dying. One thing I really like about Soden Bowl Sim League is that we are taking this very seriously. We are taking this to the next level. Hopefully sometime soon we can get better graphics and everything. One thing that I'm going to do is actually ordered a green screen, so we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. We might do like a show, you know, where it looks like Soden and I are at the same studio or whatnot. We just want to keep growing this and taking it to the next level. It's one of the best times of the year for me. It's my Super Bowl, as I described last night, if you were watching, mainly because I don't make the Super Bowl that much. I do really well in the regular season, and I just completely choke in the playoffs. I'm like the Bills of the 90s. Except they make the Super Bowl and I don't. So, but yeah, we had a great turnout. My favorite time of the year. We get to make it as realistic as possible. I appreciate all the love about, you know, the graphics and everything. I did that. I spent a lot of time, but it's worth it, you know, just to be able to see you guys enjoy that. So, one thing I want to talk about, man, who had the best rookie draft? Spoiler alert, the teams that are showing in the graphic to the top left, those are ones that I really enjoyed. First off, let's talk about the Packers. The Packers had a really good draft. You know, they obviously were in the Super Bowl, so they didn't have the greatest of picks. But with what they did with those picks, to me, they had one of the best drafts just because they weren't in a position to grab all the great guys. Their first pick, they went with Walker Little. I love this pick. He's a left tackle out of Stanford, star development. 75 overall, so he's going to be able to go on the other side of Batari. I don't know which side he's going to have him on. He's a left tackle that he's very versatile. He can play either side. I really like that pick. I also like the next pick that they had, which was Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson. Their strong safety, 75 overall, also star development like Walker Little. To get two guys like that with star development has just been phenomenal. I mean, he probably was doing, his scouting. He probably knew what draft class we were using, but you know what? Everyone had that option. Everyone had that ability, so you can't really blame it on this or that. Everyone knew what draft class we were using. Then he comes back and scoops up one of the best tight ends in the draft, Harrison Bryant. Really like this guy. 74 overall, quick development. I think he's going to be able to start right away. And you know how Aaron Rodgers loves his tight ends. He's going to be able to contribute. So I do like those three picks. That's why they're in the conversation. What they did later within the draft, I wasn't really crazy about. But I really did like that one. Then the next one I want to go to is the Houston Texans. Houston Texans had a phenomenal draft too. They did have some high picks, so they really couldn't really whiff on that. But they made moves to get to that spot. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins. They sucked last year, so there was a couple reasons for why they had those picks. But they made the most of it. I mean, the first pick, in my opinion, I know last night I was a little drunk, so take it for what it is. Derek Brown was probably the best. He was overall the best player on the draft board. 80 overall, star development, defensive tackle. And the reason why I like this is that it wasn't one of their biggest needs, but now you've been able to either pair him beside J.J. Watt or move J.J. Watt to a defensive end and have Derek Brown play his natural position, in my opinion, which is a nose tackle in 3-4. Excuse me. So he's got a lot of options he can play with, but no more double teaming there. J.J. Watt. Really, you got Clowney, Watt. You just got a plethora, and I think college did a good job of that. Second pick was his. It looks like he's switching him to outside linebacker, so maybe they are going to go to a 4-3 setup. Is Troy Dye, 75 overall, star development. I love this pick, man. This guy is a field general, like I explained last night. He's going to be able to command the center of that the field, which is where a lot of people like to go with passes and everything. So he's got great pursuit, great hit power. So I do like that pick. He was able to turn around and get that guy. And then the third pick was Joe Sculthorpe, which that was kind of shocking that Soden was able to pronounce this guy's name correctly. I love the pick. 73 overall, which isn't huge, but keep in mind with the rosters we're using, there's a disparity between the top talent and then, the talent that kind of slides down. The franchise guy does a great job of doing that with his roster. We didn't use the roster, we used the draft class. I do think that this was a good pick. Quick development, he's going to be able to plug right in there. Looks like he's got him playing right guard as of right now. I do like that position for him. I think that he's going to be able to probably start right away. A lot of these guys, if you look at their offensive lines, they have low 70s and stuff like that. So in my opinion, he's going to be able to be plugged in right away. Then he got a guy that was a 66 overall, quick development center to shore up that line. My opinion, he's probably going to be playing center maybe as a backup for right now until he can build him up a little bit. But he's only 22 years old, so you're going to be able to develop him pretty quickly. So I really love that pick. Then we go with my second favorite, the New England Patriots. Now, if you look at the Daddy League and you go sort by the experience and you see zeros, obviously rookie, man, they have got a plethora of talent there. They drafted, and again, he probably knew what the draft class was, 3 star development players. He drafted, it looks like Chase Vinatieri, so it must be like Adam Vinatieri's son or brother or something, I don't know. Anyway, he drafted him. He's a star kicker, 75 overall. Really liked that pick. Then he was able to do a lot with what he had. He had I believe the 6th or the 8th pick. He traded down and got a plethora of picks, something that I would have done. I love that type of move because he said, you know what, there's a lot of talent in this draft class. I want to move down. A desperate team like the Colts had to get up to get their guy because they traded Andrew Luck. Everyone knew they were going to quarterback. So he was able to kind of reap the benefits, reap the reward, so to speak, with that, with the Colts needing the draft. And they ended up getting Tua I love that pick, but it wasn't, I don't think they had a deep enough class. But what it was able to do was just open up all this new stuff for the Patriots. Getting to their draft class, they did draft one of my favorite safeties, which was Khaleke Hudson out of Michigan. This guy has got star development, 75 overall, a guy that you're going to play right away. He reminds me a lot of Troy Polamalu with just the fact that he likes to be very physical and he can stop the run. You can put him up in the box. Kind of plays that hybrid safety linebacker spot. So he's going to fit right into this defense and what he likes to do. He was also able to capture a great cornerback, Christian Fulton. One of my top five cornerbacks in the class. 74 overall, quick development. Really like that guy. He plays more of a press man, but that, to me, from what I've seen with T. Hoyt, that's what he likes to do. Then he was able to come back and get Raekwon Davis, a stud defensive tackle from Alabama, and he was able to gather him 75 overall, quick development. He's the second best tackle in my opinion. And if you look down the list, he got Jared Pickney, Kendall Vilder, which was another cornerback that was a 75 overall. Jared Pickney, 75 overall. You have all these 70s that were they don't sound sexy, but if you looked at the draft class, there wasn't a lot of them. He was able to scoop a ton of these guys up. So I love what he did. And you're saying to yourself, like, man, if he had that great of a draft class, who could have topped him? Well, in my opinion, the best draft class goes to the Cleveland Browns. Yes, that Cleveland Brown team. I really thought that, and I had talked to him before the draft, and he was scared that, not scared, but he was worried that Jalen Phillips was going to be off the board at his pick because he thought that the Giants was going to jump him because they both like to use the defensive line and grab Phillips. The Giants actually surprised a lot of people and went with Jake Fromm. Didn't surprise me, but he went with Jake Fromm, so that left Jalen Phillips, who was probably the second best player in the draft, to fall to the Cleveland Browns. Fantastic pass rusher, and they're going to pair him on the other side of Myles Garrett. So when you play the Browns, you are going to have just two guys you're going to have to watch out for. No longer is it, ID the Mike on Myles Garrett, or, set your running back to block him. You're going to have to watch both sides. So I love what they did. And then they come back around and get Lavert Hill, who in my opinion is the best corner in this entire class. 75 overall, star development out of Michigan. Again, pairing him on the other side of a great player in Denzel Ward. They may have a little rivalry going on since Michigan, Ohio State. Anyway, but I love that pick because now you can't just focus on whoever's away from Denzel Ward. You've got another guy who likes to play that press man. So I love that pick. And then the third pick that they had in the first round, it's at the beginning of the second round, was Ben Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland Browns, Ben Cleveland, right? He's out of Georgia, right guard, another star development, 73 overall, another guy they're going to be able to plug and play. He's going to probably get a lot of snaps, and I assume he's going to play that guard position. And if you look down through their list, man, they got a punter, but 75 overall, great kick power. They were able to get a bunch of 70s with quick development, and if you look through there, probably, in my opinion, 5 or 6 guys are going to start on this team. So I love what they did. I thought that they did a fantastic job. I thought, maybe they weren't as flashy or flamboyant as some of the other drafts, especially like the Packers. Or I'm sorry, not the Packers, but the Patriots. But they did such a great job kind of managing with what they needed. So to me, in my opinion, I just think that they did such a phenomenal job, and they hit it out of the park. I think he was very excited about his draft as well because he was posting about it, and he wouldn't shut the hell up. So, but he has every right to be like that because I believe that was a great draft class. So, kudos to you, man. I know DB Null from back in the day. He's a great guy. We play PlayStation together, right? Small world. Now we both play in a Xbox League. So, there's that. So, the part that not everyone's going to like, and if your team's up here before, as I switch to the graphic, I do apologize. Actually, I don't, because I don't care what you think. I kind of went through the draft, and I didn't like these draft classes. So, again, if you're on this list, You know, it's just because I looked at your team and maybe you're happy with it, and that's great, man. That's all that matters. But I looked at it and I thought, man, you reached on some of these picks and you probably didn't have that fantastic of a draft. So, you know, obviously the teams are on here. The Redskins are on there too, mainly because of the surprise. You know, they drafted that 60 overall, and he was like in the second or third round. Obviously, it was his son's fault. But if I look deeper into this class, he did not have a great draft. If you look at the best player that he drafted, it was a 73 overall cornerback, Keith Taylor out of Washington. After that, it just kind of goes down. The guy that his son drafted isn't even on this roster, so he must have got rid of him right away. I do like Justin Herbert. He's going to be that quarterback. I think 72 overall, like he probably played a little bit better than that, but Herbert was, to me, I mean, that was probably the only pick that I really liked. Everything else I feel like he reached for. You know, the Redskins have a pretty, I would say they have a pretty decent roster, but, you know, they have a lot of teams in that division that are building for the future. I don't think he did enough to really compete. I mean, Big Mike's great owner, great guy. I just didn't like his draft. You know, sue me, right? They were going to the Oakland Raiders. I did not like their draft. Their best player, no lie, was a kicker, Rodrigo Blankenship out of Georgia. He's 76 overall, quick development. I did like the Najee Harris. I think he was one of the top running backs in the class, and they really needed that rushing attack. They were like dead last in rushing. So I did like that pick. If you look kind of through their roster, I didn't like really anything else. Nothing else really stuck out. They had a lot of picks. They just didn't really do much with it. So they just really didn't have that great of a draft. I mean, in my opinion, it was not the worst, but one of the worst. And then, you know, the second worst, we're going to go with the Rams. Now, I will say this. The Rams have a set roster already there, so them whiffing on this draft is probably not the end of the world. But looking at their draft, they had one player that was over 70. One player, and everyone else was under that. So they did grab a guy named Caleb Kelly out of Oklahoma, outside linebacker at 73. Normal development. They had a lot of guys with that normal development. I didn't really like their draft. I mean, there was, 61 overall, 68 overall, 67 overall. Just not really a sexy draft. The worst team that I'm going to give it to, and it's not because I like busting Soden's balls, but it's going to be the Denver Broncos. And the only reason I'm giving this to him is because he had 3 players drafted. Because he traded all of his picks. So, obviously, he didn't have the best draft because he had lower round picks. And he actually got a star right tackle, in all fairness, a 69 overall. But he had a 69 overall cornerback, normal development. Free safety, 66 normal. Didn't have the best draft, but he's got a great roster, kind of like the Rams. So it's like, what do you do here? I'm not saying that they're going to suck going in next season, or they suck. I'm just saying that their drafts sucked, and that's what it was. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you because I don't care. I mean, at this point, it's like, it just is what it is. So anyway, let's go into the next segment. Al, thank you so much. Al was the one that created that nice little nugget video for me. So anytime I do the Alpha's Hot Take, that's going to play. Thank you, Al, for doing that. That's great. Alpha's Hot Take, I always come up with something controversial, something that probably a lot of people don't like, but I don't care because this is my show, and until you make a show called FU Alpha's Unfiltered, then I don't really care. So this is kind of a controversial thing because we just went through this. If you're watching or following SBSL, we had to remove 2 owners. Very difficult decision because the 2 guys were really nice. They were good guys, but it was made within staff that, this is just not acceptable. Warnings were given beforehand to both of these guys, and they just did not play. They had low player ratings the entire year. People were giving them low ratings, like, hey, they were doing this or they were doing that, and we just had to get rid of them. And it was very controversial because it was the T-Hoy had to take over the Raiders because it was the Raiders and the Steelers. And again, great guys. I'm not going to knock them, but man, come on. They were both ebook players, and that's one thing. And again, I'm not going down the rabbit hole because I'm sure Soden's going to come up with his own video, but to be honest with you, we're not going to tolerate that. It's just not something that we are going to accept. If you are an ebook player, now if you don't know what an ebook is, it's not the books that you buy for your Amazon Kindle. It's not like Secret of the Yaya Sisterhood, which Soden has on his Kindle. This is ebooks Madden, where basically people buy these books to garner plays and cheese glitch it plays that, you know, are very hard to stop, and sometimes in some cases impossible to stop. Guys, we're not going to tolerate it. If you come into the new season and you bought an ebook, Soden is actually going to be doing a lot of investigation. And now if you got a play that's in your book that is considered a glitch play, we can tell. We can look at the plays that you're calling, how many times you're calling them, what situations, and we can say this guy's an ebook player. So if you're not an ebook player, don't worry about it. If you just, like me, I just went into formations like, I like this formation, I like this one, then you're fine. If you got to play in there, we're not going to kick you, and you're going to get a warning. But man, gameplay is going to be very stringent in this coming season. We have Reverse, who's a Bills owner, who's taking over for that position, and this dude is like wanting to make the gameplay better for us. He's came from a very established league on PlayStation where they have very stringent rules, but it's because people take advantage of this. If we said no rules, you guys play the way you want, man, there would be just junk crap all over this, the way that you see in these competitive games. I'm sorry, but those competitive games are complete crap and trash. Like, I don't like watching those guys play. They take advantage of all the stuff, and you may say, "Oh, you suck," whatever. I could play like that. I could go online and play like that. But what's the fun of that? Like, I had a great game with Soden during the season where it was like completely methodical. Thought I was gonna lose it, and I even had some other games where I lost, like against Swing. Man, that dude was like just very methodical when he went over top of me and underneath. He's just very methodical. You can tell a difference between that and someone that's going to do all they can at all costs to win the game. We're not going to accept that. It's just not going to happen. So if you are that type of player where you're like, I'm going to win at all cost, no matter the situation, you're going to be gone. I don't care who you are. If I was doing that, Soden would boot me. Now Soden starts doing that, and we're just going to make fun of him really badly, because I don't know if we can boot him, but we can make a second league and just tell him, we would call it like the Poden Bowl or something, and then create that and get all the sim guys over there and leave him alone with Soden Bowl. Anyway, Soden's not going to do that. But we are going to be monitoring it very, very thoroughly. And Reverse we're giving him the keys to the Ferrari, saying, look, man, if you see anything, you're like this, you're in charge of this. So if you have any questionable gameplay, make sure that you don't. So if you play somebody that is very cheesy, do not contact us DM. Oh, this guy's running this. Try to contact your opponent and say, look, man, I'm trying to be nice in a respectful way, and say, look, you can't do this. This is against the rules. And if he's not playing along, then go, you got to go through the correct channel, which is going online, filling out the form. There's actually a place where you could say, where they broke it, and timestamp it. I mean, it's really easy to create clips off of Twitch. Timestamp it, because if you don't do that and you don't take the time to do that, then you can't complain. Okay, you can, because if you're going to just say, well, he ran this, he did this, and you're not going to like do a little bit of work, we can't either correct it, like go over it and then try to like help the guy out and show where he's going wrong, or boot him. You've got to help us grow. We need that type of support, and we need you guys filling out those forms after the game. If you played a great game against an opponent, fill out, let us know, because we're going to have awards based off of that. Best sim owner, whatever. So do that. If you are coming into this league brand new, I suggest you read the rules before you start season 1. Even though you may have read them before, read them again. Okay? We are not hard asses, ball busters, but we're not going to allow you to say, well, I didn't know that was a rule. I didn't see it. Well, read it. Read the rule book. And Soden's got a couple new things that he's going to come out with as far as rules goes. I don't know if I'm going to be on that video or not, but some cool rules, I think. It makes it even more fun. So, you know, we always run into those guys that are like pushing the limits. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that says, oh, why are you having this rule? Why are you having this rule? Don't be that guy. You can always make suggestions. We will always listen to it. Not always listen to it. Maybe if you have a stupid suggestion, I might just tell you to kick sand or something. But anyway, yeah, you just don't be that guy. Play the way the game is meant to be played, okay? And if you're getting blown out, the guy's playing fair, don't come out with your 4 verts every single play and just, you know, Madden makes everybody mad, right? It's kind of, you know, poetic that it's called Madden, you know, but don't be that guy, man. We've got something, we're growing, we're going to become bigger. You know, Madden, this is all going to work out the kinks for Madden 20, I can tell you that right now. We got some big things lined up for you. We're going to be giving away copies of Madden. We're going to be doing some other type of prizes. You want to be a part of this. We're going to have a team draft, and it'll be kind of like last night's draft, where we'll have some cool overlays, a show, and everything. So be a part of it, man. Help us grow. This SB marketplace is for you guys, okay? Everyone starts out on the same page, right, at 0. You get what you put into it. It's that simple, okay? I'm not I feel like I get preachy on every freaking show. I should probably become a preacher, like Benny Hinn, and just start like baptizing people in there. I'm not gonna do that, but you know what I'm talking about. So, with that being said, I don't want to end it on a sour ass note where people are like, man, he just digging in on us. So, guys, thank you for being a part of this. We love the success is only because you guys are here and helping us out. Follow us on Twitter. The Soden Bowl, the actual Soden Bowl Twitter, and I have the wrong one here. Okay, it's at the bottom, and I have the wrong image. I'm gonna see if I can get it real quick here. Here we go. Follow Soden Bowl at Soden_Bowl_19, or the other one, which is the official SBSL, at Soden Bowl Sim LG. Follow both of us. If you have a brand new Twitter, get Twitter, man. It's the easiest way to rack up points. Easiest way. I mean, you don't have to do fancy productions, graphics, broadcast shows, anything like that. Do Twitter. That's our content, right? We're a content league, content-driven league. You sit around and all you do is schedule games and play your games, and that's it. You're likely to not get any type of reward points, and you're probably going to be the last to pick your team, and you're not going to like your team, and you're probably going to be out anyway. So just either do us a favor and say, you know what, I'm gone, or I'm going to step up, I'm going to do more. There's been guys that have stepped up, and I'm willing to teach you anything. OBS, you know, what type of cams to get, like how to do graphics, everything. I'm very open when it comes to that, because I want at least the league to succeed, and I actually love the content side of it and teaching people. I wish there was someone that taught me how to do a lot of this. A lot of it's self-taught. Now the OBS thing, there were some tutorials that were from another league that did a great job. Thank you, Andrew. But for the most part, it was all self-taught. So step up, guys. Follow us on Twitter. Create a Twitter account for your team. Tag myself, and I'll put my own shameless plug on there at the AlphaHill7, which is my gamer tag. That is my Twitter account. I will always retweet and share your stuff. I don't got a ton of followers, but I got some. I got about 140 or something that will probably like it, or you know, whatever. So reach out, do your part, man. We are a great league. We're just getting better, and be a part of the future, man. Don't be a lot of these guys that are just trying to cheese their way through. There's a lot of leagues out there that will accept your cheesy ass. This is not one of them. So with that being said, I'm done preaching. Amen.